Well, hello. So a couple things I was thinking about that have been working well for me lately that I thought I might share with you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm out here at Lake Vadnais. I have a habit of mislabeling places or bodies of water that I'm that I'm visiting in a lot of my videos. So I'm pretty sure, well, it's definitely a lake in Minnesota, Lake Vadnais, I think it is. Anyway, beautiful spot. And I find that if I'm feeling any type of way, rather than going on my phone or, watching something or whatever, staying indoors, getting out into nature and getting the body moving is almost never a bad idea. It's such a mood elevator. So anyways, what it is, number one, is I heard this phrase, which is don't sell out what you really want for what you want right now. And we're all guilty of doing this. Me especially. That immediate gratification type of thing is so alluring. But what I have been implementing lately, and this is just like the most basic of things, but we all know these things, but to know it, it's like having the vitamins that you know will be good for your body in your cupboard. You got them because you know that they're good for you, but they only work if you actually pull them out and use them. So having these little reminders for myself, and it's helpful for me to just pontificate it on these videos and talking to people, because it's a great reminder for myself to keep these things in a daily practice, which is don't trade in your big goals, the big things that you really want that will enrich your life, for the things that you just want right now. Or like, for instance, you want to have a healthy body, you want to feel good, you want to have that, that aesthetic figure or whatever, but at the time you also want that donut, or you want to feel good or whatever, and you want to have a happy life, but you also want to have those beers or take that drug or whatever. And one thing that has been helpful for me lately is we've got this area in between stimulus and response. You get your little cue that causes a craving or a desire or something like that, is to stop for just one second. And you can put some kind of visual reminder or something like this to make this a practice, which is to play it forward a little bit. Like, there's like a couple things that I have been encountered lately with some drugs, like some of my favorite drugs out in the world. And don't get me wrong, if I could take the drugs that I used to take and feel amazing without any downside, I'd be there all day long. But guess what? There's so much downside that comes with it. It's just not sustainable. Okay. And it plays back to how you feel. If you feel good in here, nothing out here matters. I know this because, tell you what, when my life was a complete and utter mess, I was homeless, I was destitute, health failing, everything else. When I was high, I felt great about everything, because I felt great. And because it's not the stuff on the outside that makes us feel a certain way, it's how we feel in here that makes the stuff on the outside seem a certain way. We latch on how our emotions are made. It's actually, this has been revolutionary for me to figure out, and I had it pointed out, I didn't figure it out on my own, but is that most of the time our emotions come from the inside, from just our chemistry, how our hormones are reacting from exercising, from getting out, from eating, that sort of thing. And then dependent upon that, our external things, our stimulus out in the world, we will latch on based upon, let's say we ate something bad and our body's not in good shape. We'll start obsessing about something on the outside, like, oh, she said this, or, oh, I'm worried about money, or whatever. It's not the thing. It's this. It's in here that's caused. It's not the thing that's making you feel that way. It's that you feel that way. So you're latching onto the thing to legitimize why you're feeling that way, and that's why you're obsessing about the thing. Whereas when you know you're in a great mood, that anybody could say anything for the most part, or bad things can happen, or perceived negative things can happen, but it doesn't bother you because you're in such a great mood. Just like when I was high out of my mind, it didn't matter. Somebody could say whatever, and I was like, that's fantastic. Conversely, if I'm not feeling optimal in here, then I'll sit here, and I've never been in a better financial position as I am right now, ever in my life. And I'll sit there and worry about finances, and it's like, buddy, like, are you kidding me? And then, but to have that knowledge that it's just like women when they're on their menstrual cycle. I can relate because I've got like a menstrual cycle where my emotions are up and down, and the exact same thing, exact same life, same circumstances and everything from day to day seem totally different. One day it seems like everything is hopeless and I should just give up, and it's all meaningless and purposeless, just terrible. And then the very next day, because of my mood, just my chemistry, because everything is great, and I feel great about everything, and the world is full of possibility, just based upon how I feel on the inside. So to keep that sort of thing in mind for me, when I'm in a less than optimal mood, and I'm contemplating something, that's not the time for me to be making big decisions, or for me to be figuring some big life thing out, because I realize that my vision is skewed based on, and we're all like this. We're all emotional creatures, whatever. So to keep that in mind when you're on your day to day. So when you're not in just a ridiculously good mood, you don't make too kind of manic and crazy predictions not predictions, but decisions rather, that might not be the best idea because things look so rosy. You're like, oh, let's invest in that. Let's commit to this thing because everything is just glorious and wonderful. But then also, so the thing is, for big stuff, to give yourself like 24, 48 hours to think about it, and then also realize, this is what I have instituted in my life, because I realize that I can go back just a little bit of time and look back at some of the decisions that I've made and say, that wasn't very smart. 5 years ago, I was a complete fool. And I can go back 10 years ago and be like, dude, what a complete fool. But I got it together now. We always think we got it together now. But guess what? In another 5 years, we'll look back and be like, dude, you're a fucking moron. But to keep that in mind, not to beat yourself down, but to realize that we are fallible. We're all fallible. And that we don't see things clearly, and use that as a tool and a benchmark to seek good counsel, and to give yourself some extra time to think about things, and to weigh the options, and also to not take yourself too seriously, but take myself too seriously. If I'm in a disagreement with somebody or something, realize that it could be me that's wrong. It very well could be, it most likely is me that is not seeing things clearly. And almost a huge percentage of the time, it's just clearly it's a miscommunication between the two people. They're just not understanding. Definitions aren't syncing up or whatever. But so a way to fix that is when you're in a disagreement with somebody, you give the best case scenario back to the person. Like, if I'm hearing you correctly, this is your point of view, and then saying it back to them so you can get a clear perception of what they're actually thinking and get some validation to make sure it's just not a miscommunication and you're both just not seeing eye to eye on something because your definitions are different for the same words or whatever. But okay, so the other thing, getting back to not selling out what you really want for what you just want right now. To keep your eyes on the prize, to stop yourself for a minute. And for instance, what I do now is when I've been offered some of my favorite drugs, like Adderall. And I think to myself, oh wow, I could probably get away with doing this today because I've just come so far and stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff that's a kind of subconscious stuff that pops up, and you're like, no, slick, that ain't the truth. Because what you can do, or what I have been doing lately, is playing the tape forward a bit to evaluate things, which is, okay, so I take this thing today, I have an amazing time, I love it, I know it'll be an amazing time, I'll feel great today, but how about tomorrow? Because tomorrow I'll feel like crap. And then the next day I'll feel like crap as well, and probably the next day after that I won't feel optimal. So I will have given up the next 3 days, 4 days, maybe even more than that, plus my sobriety, my clean time, for 1 day of feeling really great. That's not a good trade-off. I spent a lot of years trading off my happiness for the week for my happiness today. And it's just not a good trade-off, because it snowballs. It's like, okay, so the next day I don't feel good, then I'm gonna want to do it again. What am I gonna do the next day then? Do it again? And then all of a sudden I keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore. I've got all of the negative consequences of it and almost none of the benefits, because it's not sustainable. So playing these things forward, like I have health goals. I want to get that awesome chiseled, 300 six-pack abs and looking my best and feeling my best. But then also I have I come across like, oh hey, how about some carrot cake? How about some this and that? And every now and again, that's fine, as long as it fits into your goals. I'm not saying you have to be a diet Nazi or whatever. Live a little sometimes, but if it's habitual, our lives are basically it's a amalgamation of our life's choices, our daily choices, and they all stack up. They all stack up. And if you have resolved it with yourself to do a certain thing, even if it's a small thing, when you let yourself down, it causes a lack of self-respect, or it causes myself to respect myself less, and to be in integrity with myself after not being able to trust myself to do the things that I told myself that I was going to do, that I wanted to do for so long in my life. Having that integrity at this stage in the game, when I tell myself that I'm going to do something, I'm going to effing do it. Even if the thing is stupid, not to a ridiculous point, but if I tell myself I'm going to do something, then I'm going to effing do it. Because I can trust myself to do it these days, for the most part. I have my struggles, but the more that you follow through, the more that I follow through with the things that I say that I'm going to do, the more respect I get in myself, and the more self-admiration, the confidence comes from competence. It comes from doing the thing and mastering the thing repeatedly, and then you stack up all of these good these good decisions, and I can wake up in the morning and say, thank you, God, for this day. Thank you, Bobby, for putting in the work and doing the right thing. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I love you. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, I'm so disappointed in you, and everybody else is too, because you've been given so much to work with and you're squandering it. But, you know, now I don't feel that way. You know, it's funny, you know, how these things it's not rocket science at all, but it's not enough to know the thing. It's the execution of the thing. It's not enough to read the book. You have to actually do the stuff in the book. You've got to practice it and put in the work. That's what I have found, and it is one of the most gratifying thing I have found in this world, is to sacrifice and work really hard towards a goal, and not even the outcome being the end point, is being proud of yourself for putting in the work along the way. Not to be so fixated, I'll be happy when I get to this point. I am super proud of myself for the daily work, knowing that I am on the way to my goal. Not to wait till I get there, because it's never as amazing as when you get there and you're going to have yet another goal that you're going to want to hit right after you get to that point anyway, because we are goal-seeking animals. So anyway, yeah, life is good. Having a good day. Love you guys. Yeah.